Hey YouTube, Maddie's Daddy 12 here with another legit YuGiOh deck profile. So before I start this deck profile, make sure you head over to legitygioh.com. Check out all of our YuGiOh articles. Also, make sure you head over to legitmtg.com. Check out all of our Magic the Gathering articles. And while you're there, click on that store icon from either one of the websites. Head on over to the Legit store and check out everything there that we have listed for your gaming needs, be it Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, whichever you may need. So, Nationals is quite literally going on right now. Like this weekend, Nationals in Pittsburgh is going on right now, and I was not able to go, and honestly, due to a lot of just busy schedule with my daughter's t-ball and my older daughter's softball and just life. Me and my son were not able to go to Nats, and I did not have enough time to really play test as much as I wanted. So this was the deck that I've been playing recently, and this was the deck that I was going to take with me to Nationals had I been able to go and play, and that is Qliphort Demise. You can tell me it's Floodgate deck, you can tell me it's a Helmet deck, you can tell me all that kind of stuff, and you're not entirely wrong, but you're also not entirely correct. You do have to have the Floodgates, you do have to have the trap cards in order to make this deck work, but there's also other interactions that you have to have in order to make this work also, and that's kind of some of the other stuff that I've added into this deck. So yeah, I got a couple cute little tech ideas in this, but let's get into this real quick. Scout, pay 8, search a Qli card. Monolith, when a Qli monster is tributed, you get to draw cards for each one tributed. Stealth, non-respondable, bounce a card on the field. Cool interactions with Scout. You can play Scout, search a Stealth, and then tribute out Stealth, and bounce Scout back to your hand, and then play Scout again and search again. So, like, cool interactions and stuff. Double Carrier. Anytime it's tributed, you get to bounce a monster on the field. Double Helix. Anytime that it's tributed, you get to destroy a spell or trap on the field. I did bump this up to 2 because 1, I needed the high scale, and 2, pendulums. Odd Eyes Pendulums are beginning to be a lot more popular, and you need to pop that extra a spell and trap that they may have from time to time. They play the Solemn Brigade, and they also play, of course, their scales and whatnot. So you got to pop those extra stuff occasionally. And then you play the one shell. I do like playing the one shell only because you're going to OTK quite often. It is a high scale, so that helps too. But you do OTK quite often with this. Like you can put your opponent into a pretty awkward situation where you just put this on board. He gets to attack twice at 2,800, and it has trample or piercing. That's sick. Like it's good. That's all your monsters. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 monsters. I think that's what it was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 monsters. Not a lot. Not a whole lot to this engine anymore that you really need, that you have to have because of Demise. Card of Demise, like you draw an extra 3 cards per turn. Like Card of Demise, you draw until you have you draw until you have 3 cards in your hand. So you can resolve this when you only have 1 card in hand, and now you have 3. You can resolve it when you have no cards in hand, which is the best opportunity. And then you get to draw 3 cards, and that's the best, like I said, because what ends up happening in that situation is now you've drawn into extra trap cards and extra stuff, and becomes super good at that point. So this is what has made this deck even more playable than what it was before. It wasn't extremely playable before just because... mainly because there's other Pendulum stuff that is just better. Like, honestly, like, Magicians and Draco Pals and just the performance stuff has just been better than Qliphort recently. But this, it gets to add a whole new stun aspect into it with the Card of Demise, which pairs well with the Pot of Duality, because you can't special summon when the turn you activate this. You can't special summon when you activate that. You get to add another card, so like you just get to dig one card. You actually get to dig 3 cards deeper, but you just choose one of them to add to your hand. So you get to make sure that you're going to set traps Just good stuff. More draw power. You gotta have it. Like a bunch of draw power in this deck. Sacrifice and Laser Clip. Those are the two Qliphort spells that I run. This makes your guy a double tribute. This makes your guy cannot be destroyed by battle, and an extra 300 attack. So, and when it goes to the graveyard, you get to add a Qliphort monster to your hand. So that's sweet. So, yeah, there's that. And then Laser Clip. Laser Clip actually pairs well with Card of Demise, because Laser Clip gives you an additional normal summon. So, if you do draw into multiples of these guys, which shouldn't happen because you're only playing 9 monsters, but if you do, you get the additional normal summon, and you know, it pairs well with Monolith because you get the additional normal summon, and you get to tribute more monsters and draw more cards at the end phase. Monolith pairs well with Card of Demise also, because you can resolve Card of Demise first, discarding whatever cards you may have in your hand, and then resolve Monolith last and draw for whatever Qliphort monsters you tributed that turn. So as long as you place these on the chain correctly, then you're going to still end your turn with cards in your hand, even though Card of Demise says that you wouldn't otherwise. So, yeah. Other field spells are Necro Valley. Super good card. Like, it stops so many things. It stops Seer. It stops Dante. Guys, it stops Barbar. It stops... What else? It stops Cosmos. It stops the big ships from activating because you can't banish them from the graveyard. God, yeah, it stops a lot of stuff. Super good card. And they're ultimate, so like that's awesome too. 2 Summoner Art. So 2 Summoner Art instead of 3. Big reason, Scout used to be the backbone of this deck. It's not as much now, honestly. The traps are the backbone of this deck now. You still want to play it because you still want to get to Scout, you still want to get to Monolith, but it's not. Scout is not as huge of a part of this deck as it used to be. So now here's something really cool that I'm running that a lot of other people aren't. I'm actually going to play triple Stormforth. So Stormforth is super good because if they have a big ship on board, you get to tribute it off to bring out one of your Qliphort guys. If they got a Beatrice or a Dante on board and you're wanting to try to dodge it as best you can, you got the Stormforth into the Qliphort monster. Wow, just so many things that you get to tribute off. Stormforth just becomes super good. And to search out the Stormforth, I'm actually playing double Tenacity. So Tenacity says you got to reveal a monster with 2,800 attack or 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense. Shell's 28, 1,000. Helix and Carrier are both 2,400, 1,000. Stealth is 2,800, 1,000. Monolith is 2,400, 1,000. Scout is the only monster that you can't reveal out of all the monsters you run. The only monster you can't reveal. So you have 8 monsters that you can reveal for the Tenacity and get to search Stormforth, because that's how good Stormforth is. So to pair along with these, I actually play a one of Pantheism. So Pantheism is actually really good in this deck, because what you're able to do is if you open, I only play it as a one of because you don't want to see it late game, because you want to be able to resolve this early. You don't want to see it all the time, but you do want to see it. So if you have a Pantheism and a Stormforth, if you have Pantheism and another Monarch spell in your hand, what you're able to do is you're able to Pantheism, discard this, draw 2 cards. Now you can banish the Pantheism, reveal the 3 Stormforths, and they have to add a Stormforth to your hand. So now you've drawn 2 cards and added a Stormforth, and now you get to Demise and do all this other stuff. So essentially Pantheism is draw 2 cards, add a Stormforth, because we'll say that you're holding a Stormforth. Now instead of Pantheism, draw 2, banish, reveal 3 Stormforth, now you're going to reveal the Tenacity and 2 Stormforth. So, like, either way that this goes, you're going to get to draw 2 cards and add a Stormforth to your hand. And like I said, Stormforth is just extremely important. Is an extremely good card because of just getting rid of so many problem monsters for you. And Pantheism is so good just because, like, you want to see it. It's draw 2 cards. It's a +1. It's a +2 actually. Just super good. So, like I said, Scout is not really the backbone of this deck anymore. It's the traps now. It's the floodgates. So let's get into those. Triple Strike, because Strike's amazing. Double Chaos Trap Hole. Chaos Trap Hole is a better strike against Monarchs. It's a super good. It's super good against Burning Abyss. It's solid against everything else, but against Burning Abyss and against Monarchs, it's the scones. Like, it is super good, and why it doesn't have a hollow print yet, I don't really know, but it doesn't, so we play commons. And then 1 Solemn Warning. That's all of my counter traps, and they're the best. Soul Drain. If you can play this card right now, you need to play this card. It stops Cosmos. It stops Burning Abyss. It stops so many things. And it's super good. Like, I don't even know how else to explain it to you guys. Like, you got to play that card. If you have the ability to play it. If you're not playing Burning Abyss, you need to play this card. If you're not playing Cosmos, you need to play this card. I feel like it is a super good card. If you're playing anything that is Floodgate-ish, you need to play this card. Skill Drain. It makes your guys big, man. Like, you get to push for so much damage when you flip this. Recreate is kind of on the same way. Is kind of on the same thing as Skill Drain. It is a searchable Skill Drain. You can pendulum out your guys and make them all big, and it makes all your guys big. You can respond to like a tour guide and negate it. It's a Skill Drain that you can search. So, like, this is good. It's not great because it also requires a Qli card on the field also in order to stay alive. If you don't, then you have to destroy it. So it's not quite as good. However, I do like playing it as a one-of. If I wasn't going to play it, though, it could possibly be a second Pantheism. It could possibly be Terraforming, maybe Macrocosmos, Dimensional Fissure, some other little traps, possibly a third Rivalry. Spoiler alert, I only play 2. So, yeah, other Floodgates. Vanity's Emptiness, best Floodgate probably ever printed. And then double Rivalry. Rivalry is super good just because, like, it's really hard for Cosmo to play around because they have to be able to, they can still activate their Psychic, their Pilot to banish to summon a big ship, even though they're set on Psychic when the effect is activated. They have to have a Psychic in their hand in order to summon whenever they do that. So, like, they don't have to prove it either. So, like, that's the whole ruling to that is really, really weird and awkward. But I mean, it is what it is. But so it's awkward for Cosmo to play around. It's really good against Burning Abyss because Burning Abyss can't make any of their extra deck because none of their extra deck is Fiends. The only play that they have against Rivalry is the Speedroid engine into Grand Pulse, I believe is its name. The little blue ship that pops stuff. So they literally have to have Terratop, Search Talking Tom board. Talking Tom, whatever it is, I don't know. Talking Tomcat. They search Tom, and then they overlay into the blue guy and pop this. Like, that's their really only play to play around that, or the Twin Twister or whatnot. So, yeah, there you go, guys. That is the deck. That is what I would have played at Nationals had I been able to go. Unfortunately, again, I was not, so, you know, it is what it is. Super good tech, guys, I'm telling you. You got to try it out. This card is just amazing right here. Summoner's Art. Yay. So, guys, make sure you head over to Legit YuGiOh. Check out all of our Yu-Gi-Oh articles. Make sure you head over to Legit MTG. Check out all of our Magic the Gathering articles. Click on that store icon. Head over and check out everything that you may need for your gaming hobbies. And, like always, guys, subscribe. Comment down below. I would show you the extra deck, but it doesn't really matter because it's Qliphort's, you know. So, hey, show us how much you love us.